still tries, but look at this. No one Somebody give me lips, please.
Yeah, but you kind of look like Dick Van Dyke a little bit in there. I kind of got that Dick Van Dyke thing kind of happening. I can see.
Is it press on collagen?
I rub Viagra on this. Every morning.
Alright, I'm Renee Fournier. If anyone, I work at Substitute Films. If anyone's heard my name over the email, I usually deal with patent emeralds, and I answer fan mail. I'm the one who sends the postcards. And of course, you know, Paul.
Writer, director extraordinaire.
Abuser of actors. Like that. Brian.
But that's very private. Don't go outside this room.
I enjoy every minute of
That's
it.
true.
And we Brian and of course Lex. So
Lexx, writer. This guy's the most giving actor or on top of, you know.
So I guess it's very casual. I guess if you guys just want to raise your hands and maybe you guys can control questions.
Can we keep it to the people that showered?
See, I was glad I didn't have breakfast. I did the shower option instead.
Okay, so we'll begin. I don't know.
Okay, let's start with the front row.
No, why don't we begin? Why don't I say something?
Alphabetically.
Because I know that there's one question everybody has: what's the status of the future?
Yes.
So why don't we start with that, and we'll get that out of the way. Okay, and the status of the future is it's uncertain. I mean, you know, people are more up to date than you think, but I'll be really precise. You know, everyone knows that it's dependent on the ratings in the U.S. And we have a basic story that we've worked out, and we're quite happy to do. And but those ratings, and we're almost there. I mean, we're right there. And in the U.S. on the Sci-Fi Channel, their sort of threshold, let's call it their pass mark, is a rating of 1.0, say. And last week, our rating was 1.0. And this week, this week is a weird week because they're playing the 4 MOWs, and I don't know if that'll boost our ratings or hurt them. But if we get 1.0 this week, I've heard through our little, this is of course a secret, we have our contacts inside the Sci-Fi Channel that are unofficial. That'll probably be them triggering, saying, okay, let's see if we can make this work. Then once that happens, we start negotiating, although we basically sort of agreed on how much they would pay and a number that we think will work, provided we get those ratings. And then I have to run around and get the money, which I have been able to do in the past. And I know that with the number they're talking about, I can probably put all those pieces together. Which means that we would, Brian, curious to know this too, we probably would start shooting right after Christmas, and we'd probably start getting ready, you know, in October.
I'll be in Lithuania.
So, and that's where it is. So if we get good ratings this week, or if maybe they dip a little bit because of the movies, or maybe they've got big, mean world at that level.
So you're saying there's a job opening down there somewhere, Paul?
Very short one.
Will we be able to get the actors again? Well, I don't know about Brian, but right now, Michael and Xenia, I mean, I talked to Xenia this morning, they both want to do it, and, you know, they're holding out. But, you know, any day something could happen. Xenia, as everybody knows, is on the cover of US TV Guide, so there's a lot of people running around looking for her for things right now. But she would rather do one more season of Lexx, which is what we'd all like to do, it's one more season. And then my thinking is, and this has been the plan all along, if we did one more season, that would be the end of the program. And maybe, if all worked well, we might make a movie or two after that, which would be really twisted. Now that that business is out of the way, you can ask any more details on it, but that's basically the whole story. I mean, and at the Sci-Fi Channel, they generally like the show, the people there, and they want it to happen, but it's all about ratings for them.
Does letters from us help?
Letters from helps a little bit, but much more is them reading about themselves in the press, particularly the Los
So
Angeles.
write a letter about them.
Okay, we stroke there.
Pardon me? Stroke their ego, stroke their hair, stroke. We're not fussy here.
Some of the fans are probably to take out an ad in Variety.
Yeah, I'm really amazed to see that, and that certainly won't hurt. And hearing that the content they had, thank you Sci-Fi Channel and the fans, that's actually pretty good. That strokes their ego.
Okay.
But that's why I suggested that people write to papers, because it's hard for us to compete with those huge publicity departments and often fairly sleazy relationships. Like this person may owe that person, and there's often cross ownership. It's hard to compete. Like the person is told you have to put 75% of your copy on programs with these two networks, and the other 25% for anything else, and not on anything that competes with any of the pro shows in that
Well,
network.
TV Guide supporting Fox Television.
Yeah.
Questione.
Yeah, well, it's hard for the international fans also to write to Variety, outside of the US, because this is a question we would do it anyway, but
Well,
let us count as well.
the same situation exists more or less everywhere, other than Canada, because in Canada it actually doesn't make any difference, because the Space Channel love us so much that
We're sore.
They're saying it doesn't matter. You can, their attitude is please do, but direct your energy outside so that it makes more effect, because they will buy the show anyway, and they really are quite wonderful to deal with.
They're great. They're here.
Yeah. I mean, if I say, well, it's going to be really twisted this season, oh, that's good. Or I mean, really twisted. They say, well, we don't have a problem with that.
Rumor has it, having not seen it yet, being in America, that season 3 is a lot darker. Is season 4 going to head in a different direction again?
We've done a show that's not dark.
See,
Darker.
well,
Darker.
I'll answer that question too. See, the way the really deep history is that in the very beginning, when we did the movies, and we had a very bad relationship with Showtime. I mean, I didn't like them, the people who were dealing with, to be frank, and I had no respect for them in terms of creativity. And they were really looking for Star Wars, and they thought they were getting Star Wars. Yeah, whatever, or something like that. And then, and they had decided corporately to do something in Canada because they had something. It had something to do with Paramount. Bought a theater chain here, and they sort of made a private deal with the Canadian government. They're going to take over that theater chain. That they should do some more production. They said, okay, we'll do some more production. So they told people, do some more Canadian production. And then we were right there. Yeah, we'll do that one. It's kind of a Star Wars-y thing. And so when they saw it, they just didn't know what to think of it. And when we were working on it, they were pushing it one way and they were pushing the other. And I think that had a negative effect on our shows, because the shows were cleaner and simpler, and they became a little bit convoluted and a little bit complicated as a result of their creative input. And so we weren't entirely happy with the movies ourselves. We thought, well, but at the same time, when we made the movies, we felt what we wanted to do along, which was make a series. The characters and the general tone of it got through in spite of the sci-fi or the Showtime thing. I mean, one of the things, for instance, we didn't want to do is we wanted always to do 1 hour. We didn't want to do 2 hours. So some people have accused the movies of being stretched to 1 hour. And to a certain extent they are. We would like to have made them that way. And then when we did the series, we got quite experimental. We